Okay, we want to say, hope you're having a great day. To some, good morning. To others, good afternoon. But today is March 6th, 2025, and you are in tune to House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards. And I think today we're going to have a pretty good topic. Thank you all for sending me some particular topics that you would like to engage in on. But today I think we're going to talk about, based on a lot of stuff that has been going on, a little bit of conversations amongst newscasts and all of this stuff about where we are in this particular world. But today we're going to talk about the debt you can never repay, and that's time and energy. Now, a lot of people always hear me talk about the three things that make us who we are is our energy, our rhythm, and our vibration. But we're going to talk about the debt that you can never repay, and that's what you do with your time and how you allocate your energy to make sure that the time you spend is spent valuable. And once again, you're listening to House Calls with your man, Dr. Rory T. Edwards. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please send us an email at rorytedwards1 at gmail.com. Or you can go to our website at www.rorytedwards.com. Now, I want to start off today with a question. And some people have heard different variations of this question, but I want to ask you a question. If I gave you $1 million today, but I told you you only had 24 hours to live, would you take it? Would you take that $1 million? That's the question that I'm asking people today to answer. If I gave you $1 million today, but told you that you only had 24 hours to live, would you take it? Now, I'm going to be waiting a little while around for people to answer the question. You can do it in the comments. But let me tell you why I asked that question. I was working with a group of kids, and I posed this question in a certain way, and I told them that if I gave them $1 million and they only had 24 hours to live, what would they do with the money? And most people would, came back with answers that totally overlooked the 24 hours to live. They made excuses about, well, no, you didn't say 24 hours to live, but you did say it. But I thought you were talking about we had 24 hours to live to decide what we were going to do with the money. I didn't say, I said there was no added words on it. It was just you had 24 hours to live. What would you do? How would you spend the time that you had with that money? The sad thing is nobody um, said that they would take the money to help someone in their family's life become better. They all talked about things that they would do to spend that money as quickly as they possibly could. I said, well, what happens when you run out of time or you run out of energy? What are you going to do? Oh, I'm going to drink a Red Bull. I'm going to drink an energy drink. I'm going to do something because I'm going to stay up that whole 24 hours and I'm not going to go to sleep until I can spend as much of that money as I can. But what about you? If you had $1 million, if I gave you $1 million but told you you only had 24 hours to live, would you take it? Now, why am I talking about this today? Because we live in a world where people track their money, people count their steps, people monitor their credit score, people do everything besides monitor the most valuable currency we have, and that's that you spend this currency recklessly, and that's our time and our energy. Now, how many times have you heard people say, "Well, I'll get to it tomorrow," or I'll get to it later because I have so many things to do. How many times have you spoken to people that they say, oh my God, I'm just so busy, I don't have enough time for anything. Well, what you're doing is you're really zapping your energy. You're zapping your energy because the time that you're spending on frivolous stuff, on things that are really not very, very important to the outcome of what your daily agenda is, you are going to um, decrease your energy, and then your time is going to be sitting there not knowing what you did at all. One of the things that I suggest to many of my clients, and I don't want to call people clients because it seems like they're in need of something, but we're all in need of somebody to help us navigate through some things. But one of the things that I do is I tell people in your journals, I want you to journal. I speak highly about journaling because journaling gives you an account of your time and what you're going to spend your energy on. Now, when you set your journal up during the day at the first thing in the morning, what happens is that you do not give anybody else the opportunity to dictate what your day is going to be like. It's based on you, it's based on what you feel is important to your agenda, and it's based on how you set it up. And when you do that, you'll put the allocated times in there for what you're going to do, the particular task that you said you want to accomplish in this day. Now, what does that mean? Will you run out of time in the end of the day? If you're a productive person, you may. You may. Now, what happens? If it's valuable, you take it and you move it to the next day's agenda on the top, but you don't make it a number one priority unless it was something that was pressing that you didn't get to. And if it was pressing, you should have got to it. You should have prioritized things based on the fact that you put your agenda items based on priority. You put your agenda items based on the need for you to allocate a certain amount of time to it. And you put it there based on the time of the day when you have the most energy. Now, most people will go and go and go and go. One of the greatest things that I found in this phase of my life is taking a nap. I take naps. Some people say, oh, I don't have no time for a nap. Well, when you fall on your face, you're going to have time for a nap. What the nap does, not only does the nap replenish your body's energy, it also gives your mind a time to rest. We go through the day thinking about things that are not even important to us, that don't even address our agenda, and we're so busy trying to worry about what other people are doing and what other people have and what other people are creating that we don't take the time or the energy to create our own legacy. We spend so much time worrying about what's going on. When you look at some of the social media, so many people are talking about all of the things that are going on. This person is doing this. They don't have the ability. They don't have the right to do it. Well, if you see them doing it, I guess they do have the ability to do it. But you can't let it bother you. You have to put your agenda in order and you have to work your agenda, right? The one thing that people are talking about that I heard today, just early this morning, I've heard 3 different people talk about how am I going to survive if the prices of the tariffs that are being placed on other countries are going to increase how I live. Well, I got a little secret for you. If you've never lived on a budget, it's going to be difficult for you. If you were born to never worry about how to live on a budget, then maybe these times coming are going to be difficult for you. I don't think that will be addressed as much from people who had to live on a budget, from people who had to rob Peter to pay Paul at some time in their life. It's going to be difficult. You may have to go back to eating things that you only ate as a child. You may have to go back to eating bologna. You may have to go back to eating Spam. You may have to go back to eating Vienna sausages. But the good thing is that you're eating. And now what you do is you take the time that you have to reflect on how you're going to be able to navigate through this time period that we are forthcoming on, right? That's forthcoming in our lives. You're going to have to learn how to take your energy and focus on something that's going to make you valuable again. You're going to have to pivot. You're going to have to pivot in your life if you feel that the industry that you're working in that's going to determine what happens in your life going forward. You're going to have to understand how to navigate through what you've learned over your years of life and what it was like to be in a situation where you lived on a budget, right? I want you to tell you what the truth is. You're not broke. You are not just spending your wealth you're spending your wealth in the wrong places. That's what people do when you waste your time and your energy. You spend your wealth in the wrong places. You spend your time worrying about things that are not important to you and shouldn't be important to your agenda, and then you spend your energy on things that zap your energy and don't produce positive energy for you. And then you don't go get rebooted. It's just like if you drive an electric car. It's not that you plug it in and you can drive. You can drive for a certain amount of time and then the energy goes down and you have to plug it back up. This is the same thing with your body, with your mind. You have to be able to reboot and plug it back up. But you also have to realize, how do you track it just the way you track your steps, just the way you track your heart monitor, just the way you track everything that's you believe is affecting your health and well-being. You have to do that. And this is what we're talking about as we move into today's narrative, the debt you can never repay, your time and your energy. You're listening to Dr. Rory T. Edwards on House Calls today, March 6, 2025. And we want to thank you all for joining. We want to thank you all for listening. We want to thank you all for sharing this information, because we understand that time is something that is the most valuable thing that you can never get back. You can go back and review memories, but you can never go back and get those memories. You have to thrive with them. You have to enjoy them. You have to smile. You have to cry with them, but you can never get them back. And the one thing that happens is time doesn't wait for anyone. Time's going to keep moving. So if you think that you're going to stand there and you're going to tell time to pause, time is going to keep going. It's what you do with your time that gets you to the place in your life that you're supposed to be. So, with that being said, this day is going to come to an end. I thank you all for joining. I thank you all for those who will listen. I thank you all for those who will share. And I thank you all for keeping this information going and keeping the energy that I have relevant. But you also encourage me to keep going because you find value in these messages. And I hope that the debt that you could never repay, time and energy, is reversed so that you will enjoy it not being a debt, but it will be an asset to your life, because you will do the most positive things you can do with your time. And you will also have the most positive energy that will be absorbed by all those around, and they will see that you are nothing but a positive energy force that they need to be around. But again, make sure that you reboot your energy and make sure you don't waste your time. Like I said, get that journal, set your agenda up every day, and you'll see how much you feel so much better at the end of each day, instead of you running around like a hamster on the hamster wheel and just spinning your tires. And at the end of the day, when people ask you what you did, you say, I don't even remember, because it had no value. But you had value. So make sure you take the value that you are granted with and use your time and your energy wisely. It's your man Rory T. Edwards, Dr. Rory T. Edwards on House Calls. And I hope you have a great rest of your week. And until we speak again, you stay well, bless up,